So, how's everybody doing? We had a long show last week, last Tuesday, and we didn't finish up, so we have quite a bit to talk about and some updates. So I think we should start with updates. So what is going on with the PDC, ATC, all that stuff?
Oh geez, it's like I've been spending every waking moment on that very topic. We still have 2 tickets left for the PDC and the ATC.
And you might have found a way to get more.
I mean, we made this stuff. And it's like, well, originally we sold out of the PDC. They were all gone. And then we came up with some ideas on how to squeeze a few more in. And now your dad's here, and he's got like an amazing scheme to get even more in. We talked about it in the Smackdown show. So there's all of that. But in the meantime, as you've been working with me for 2 months on this idea. Now we've kind of posted some stuff about it and asked people to come and vote and put a thumbs up if they want to do it. And that is that live streaming. So like live stream the event. Now I know that there's like already a lot of online courses that have live streaming. And I mean, you did one. Did you do just one? You did just one, right?
We did. That was with Toby Hemingway's course was live streaming.
Okay.
And then the upcoming Pass the Solar Greenhouse design course with Rob Avis, that's going to be live stream as well.
Okay.
But it's not the kind where it's like you're touring the countryside live.
Well, oh, right. Yeah. It's not like we're doing concerts or something like that. It's kind of like, I mean, like if you do Geoff Lawton's course, then Geoff Lawton there'll be a video of Geoff Lawton, and then you'll be able to type in questions and shit. And if your question's good enough, because he has like 1,000 students at a time, if your question's good enough, then it'll get through like some guy who will then ask it to Geoff, I think. But I also heard that Geoff will personally sit down and spend days at the computer answering everybody's questions.
Yeah.
So
well, he did videos when I took the PDC with his online PDC. He did videos. He was in the airport flying somewhere, and he's like, "All right, I got a bunch of questions to go through." And he's like sitting at the tarmac, just waiting for the flight. Yeah, and he's like, "All right, here we go," and knocks them out. That was cool.
Okay. And now I don't know what format you used, because now is it just the one with Toby? I thought there was one that you did before that. Is there one that you did before that?
Did we do another one?
I don't. All right.
I might have.
So okay. All right. And then there's the one with Toby, and I don't know how live that was. But
it was all live.
It was all live? Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. So and we're not trying to be like any of that. So we've been bouncing around this idea that basically that the in-person PDC, which will have roughly, oh wow, I don't know what the number is right now. I think that there's going to be roughly 30 students live. I mean, we originally said 24, and we made space for 6 more, and there's 2 spaces left, so there'll be 30 students. So we're going to hopefully do it live. We're setting up a Kickstarter right now, and the Kickstarter hopefully will come online in a few days. And that's what I've been hammering out for the last 3 days. So the video got wrapped up about 3 days ago, and
the Kickstarter
video. And then it's like, okay, so we need money in order to be able to get all the equipment. And that's the equipment is the thing that you and I have been talking about for months. Like, what kind of internet do we need? What kind of video gear do we need to pull it off and stuff like that? So it's been hammer. So we think we've got good internet in test right now. We've been testing some different internet kind of stuff. And so right now, this very thing is over one of the contraptions that we're trying.
No, it's not. I was going to switch over to it, but I didn't because I had to do with other stuff.
Oh, okay. So. All right. Well, I've been testing it for like a week and a half, 2 weeks now, something like that. All right. So that's been.
And that what you're talking about is, we can tell them it's a MiFi device.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cellular MiFi.
But we're even talking about doing more than that.
Right. Like,
but I mean, like, we don't want to
plus,
buy all this other junk until the Kickstarter has been a success.
we can't. Yeah.
And
doesn't make any
so,
business sense to.
basically, I mean, if you watch the show regularly, then we'll tell you next week, it's up, go do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, be on my daily-ish email. I mean, I'm going to announce it wherever I can think of. All right. The idea is that for like $100, you'll be able to watch all of the PDC and all of the ATC. And then the question is like, why would anybody in their right mind want to do that when there are lots of PDC courses available? We are going to allow like some questions per day to come from the web audience, but and then all the web stuff takes a back seat to the human beings that are there.
Right. Well, logistically, it has to, because the guys controlling the live internet stuff are going to be in a separate walled off area from the actual course where that's happening, because it's all cameras and they're picking like which camera to show to the live audience.
Right.
And so what we're hoping, or what might happen, is to get the instructors to come back to that area after they're done instructing their part and then answer questions. So something like that. We're not sure yet. But I think that'd be cool.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
Or someone raises their hand for the online audience. Who knows? There's a lot of options.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. But all right. Why should you support this Kickstarter and this online thing instead of an actual online course? I got no idea, really.
I do.
Okay.
It's far cheaper than buying a full online course.
Right, $100.
Yeah,
for PDC and the ATC.
Yeah, you're looking at between $700 and $1,800 for.
Well, what's Jeff's? Jeff's is $1,000.
Oh, I can't remember. I thought it was $1,700.
Oh, I think it's $1,000. I think his courses are usually $2,500 in person if you go in person.
Yeah.
And but yeah, his online course is $1,800, and I'm feeling like for our PDC, we're working really hard to be not just yet another PDC, but you know, because we've had a lot of times where, I mean, we've got like more than a dozen people involved in putting this thing together, and we've had a lot of people say like, we don't need to do that because other PDCs don't do that, and the response has been, oh, we're trying to be better than them. We're trying to put some. We want to, and I think that the idea is that I think that the prices we have right now are like really crazy cheap. But then I hope
inexpensive, not cheap. That's what I hate, that word cheap when dealing. Like, I love the word cheap when it's a shitty product.
I hope that what we're going to be doing is like this year, we're going to be providing a $2,500 PDC for much less. And of course, if you're in the super early bird price because you're on my daily-ish email
and you read it,
then you got a sweet deal. And now with the squeezing in the last few students, it's like we're charging a little extra for those spots because we're doing some extra stuff to get them squeezed in. And now the ticket price is $1,850 per student, still less than $2,500. But I'm hoping that we're going to provide something that's at the caliber of a $2,500 course for, you know, this much lower price. And then I hope that next year we're going to provide something that is significantly higher than that for still a freaky cheap price. So I'm kind of feeling like what I would like to do, which I'm not sure we'll pull off. Maybe I'm just an arrogant bastard. Probably both. Maybe both. Is to be able to provide something that is going to be. I think this year it's possible we might pull off the best in the U.S. And then next year we might be able to pull off the best in the world. Like I'll go toe to toe with my friend Geoff,
cool,
who I hope to see this December in Hawaii.
Yeah, I think it's definitely high value to come to the PDC, and definitely high value to, if the Kickstarter goes, to do the Kickstarter.
Now, the one thing that we offer in this PDC that I think is different than the others is a lot of design work. I mean, it's a permaculture, and then as Tim Barker says, and he's the lead instructor. I'm not the lead. I am a lead, but I'm not the lead. And so Tim Barker is the lead, and he keeps saying it's a design course.
Yeah.
And so it's all about the collective of all the techniques and all the things that you like so much, all how to glue them all together. And you're going to design. And we have a professional architect that will be one of the instructors there the whole time, helping everybody to learn how to draw real good now.
Awesome.
And I think that that is something that how this course is quite different from other online PDCs as well as other PDCs in general.
PDCs,
yeah. So that's, but anyway, and then of course, you know, I've given away such an enormous amount of stuff. So there's, you know, lots and lots more to be given away. And at the same time, while there's no way we could pull this off by giving it away because we have to buy like $6,000 worth of stuff. It's like once we have it, we might be able to be a little bit more generous in the future.
And that's just to do the live streaming.
Yeah.
$6,000. I'm like, that sounds pretty good. But oh wait, that's just for the live stream equipment.
Well, and so we're going to make it available so it's live stream,
right?
So you'll be able to see it as it happens, and you'll be able to ask some questions. But we're only going to allow a few per session. So each session is 1.5 to 2.5 hours long. And so Tim's made it clear that it's like the meat students come first, and meat space has priority.
The ones that can punch me get to
yeah. And so, but a few are allowed in with each session from the web people, and so there'll be some level of interactivity, but not as much as you get from like a proper permaculture design course, online course. But I think you're going to see the students, I mean, huge amount of time is going to be put into the drawing. You're going to see students not only draw, but you're going to see me and Tim there saying, your design sucks.
I also see it as a great opportunity for someone that hasn't done a PDC before to get a good idea of what a PDC is.
You know, and I kind of feel like the PDC that I took and the PDCs that I've been to, where it's 2 weeks and everybody's together for a big gob, I mean, there is something about that is better than the ones where they do it like once a weekend.
It's a special camaraderie. It's
yeah, 1 weekend per month. I'm sure you've seen this, like they go for 7 months and it's 1 weekend per month, or the online ones. And it's kind of like, and I kind of feel like if you're really, and I kind of, there's a lot of reasons to take a PDC, and the design, learning the design is an important component, to be sure. But I think another reason is because you're just so bonkers about a PDC that you got to be around people that feel the same way, because it'll just drive you crazy if you don't. But you're not going to satisfy that with the once a month ones or with the online ones.
Right.
So I kind of feel like, and the other thing is that some of them are really, really purple. I think this one's not going to be very purple. It'll probably be one of the.
It'll be practical. You're going to do a practical PDC.
And well, I think so. I think it'll probably be one of the more practical ones. But I mean, there are some great instructors out there that are doing very practical PDCs. So I don't want to.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that's the case. That others. Yeah,
but I think
there
are
ones out there that are like,
there are ones,
am I at?
And that's cool. A lot of people are into that, and that's great. That's great. And but I believe that on the spectrum of brown to purple, that I'm a little more towards the brown, but a lot of people are sure that I'm just all brown, and I'm not. And a lot of people and I've had some people come by that have been great people, and they've expressed something about like, how they want something a little bit more purple perhaps or something. When I talk to them, it's kind of like they think that I'm super brown, and I don't think I am. I mean, you've been here now for what, a week and a half?
Week and a half, week and a day or two, a day and two.
How's the community vibe? Hanging out with our peeps.
Oh, great people, like really good people, really nice people, really generous and Yeah, just
Hard working.
Oh, yeah.
Hard working folk.
Very hard work. Even the kids are hard working.
Yeah. Put them to work.
Yeah.
Go get some rocks. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And they get up early and get right to work, and they work a long, long day. And at the end, all they can talk about is all the different designs and permaculture. They just talk about permaculture all the damn time.
Yep.
And so what's here now, and we haven't, the PDC is still more than a month away, but what's here now is the kind of community that, you know, I like to see.
Yeah. And it probably has to do a lot with that you're not quite all the way brown. Like there's a little bit of mix there.
Right. And I think that all the way brown people are going to not all gather around the table like what we do.
Right.
We do that a lot.
Oh, yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I'm still
night.
full. I'm still full. So every week they do feast night, which is awesome.
So all the ants come down off the hill.
Yeah.
And we had so many people. We had 18 people. So we had to put it into the shopatorium, which is where people will be eating during the PDC. So in fact, we were setting things up, and it's like we could feed 48 bellies, we believe, in the PDC area, in the classroom. You know, we've got to add a couple of tables for serving, but we used a couple of the tables from, you know, that we'll be using for eating. But anyway, blah 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 blah.
Great food.
But of course, the other thing is that when we have 30 students, then we have something like 12 to 14 people that are staff or doing something to pull the event off. And so, you know, I think the student to staff ratio is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Lots of attention for the people coming to the PDC.
So, all right. So you wanted me to talk about what we've been doing the last few days on the PDC. And it's like, okay, so the Kickstarter should be up in a few days. We'll probably, I hope that tomorrow, sometimes we'll send something out to the Plotsketeers. And the Plotsketeers are the people that signed up for the daily email, and they ticked off the little box that says, I want to help with Paul's
World Domination
plots on World Domination. So devious plots, devious plots on World Domination.
So they're the guys that's like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think?
Yeah.
I want your feedback.
Yeah. So I try to tap into the Plotsketeers once or twice a month for stuff. And this is exactly the kind of thing the Plotsketeers are great at. So everybody should have 8,000 Plotsketeers. Because I think that's what I got. I got 8,000. And then I think that the dailyish is 31,000, and I think our other stuff is like I think we're at 75,000, something like that. So
and for the Kickstarter, the awards are awesome. What we're thinking so far, you're still working on it.
Still working on it.
But tune in.
Yeah, I think for $1, I think we're giving you $80 worth of stuff. I think for $5, it might be a couple $100 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
And so just to kind of entice people in, and I think we got it set up. I think at $10 you can get like you can pick any one day, and it's like after the class is all over, after it's all recorded and stuff. For $10 you get whatever the artifacts.
Day, you get to see it.
Pick which day you want. Yeah.
Cool.
And then but I know that it's like I think at $100 you get everything. I think you get all of it. And I think for 150 you get the live access. I'm not sure. Maybe it's you know what? Now I'm not sure.
Well, no.
I'd have to go look at it.
It's still, yeah.
I'd have to go look at it. But then we've also got stuff at like $300. Oh, and I think we've got something set up so that for a certain amount of money, some crazy amount of money, like $3,000, then we're going to wood burn, take a big chunk of wood and burn on it. Supreme executive producer with bacon, cheese, and sparkles. Put your name on it. We'll hold it in front of the camera for every segment for the whole 4 weeks.
And bark. Awesome.
All right. So you wanted to talk about that. So there you go. That's what we've been working on.
Yep. And I've been working on the design course for the passive solar greenhouse design course with Rob Avis, which is fucking awesome so far. I'm really excited for it. You can just go to permethos.com and you can get it. Rob is doing a $30 video.
It looks very professional.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rob's very professional. If you haven't seen Verge Permaculture and Rob Avis stuff,
Yeah.
that guy knows his shit.
Very professional.
And anyway, so you can go to permethos.com, and Rob gave us, so he sells a course for like $29. It's a micro course, like a mini course on greenhouse stuff. And he gave it to us temporarily to use while we're ramping up for the actual course, the full course. And we are in turn giving that to everybody who wants a copy. So that's pretty awesome. Now, I say it's free, but you got to give us your email address.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, and that's been becoming really popular. I've not been able to ever wrap my head around it, but it's kind of like, it's free if you come like now, but if you,
I try to avoid the word free.
If you forget,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's free.
Right.
if you come now and you do it like in this window, and then but if you miss the window, then and you want to see it, it's coin.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of people they I know that for your event we're putting together the whole web page, a thread out at Permies about it, and we're going to tell everybody about the free part. This is what people want to hear. They want to know about that. It's free if you hit the window.
Yeah, and it's great value. And one thing we do, so what really annoys me about those programs is that, so you give them your email address, they put you in their list, and then they just send you a bunch of crap or a bunch of spam or whatever, which we send notifications. I like to think they're very valuable information when we send a newsletter, or I try to make it that way. But what we do is something that I don't know that anybody else is, or I'm sure people are, but what I think is unique is that if you do that, you get the video, so awesome, you got something cool out of it, and you don't want to hear from us, don't click anything or read the email. We'll put you in a disengaged list and we won't bug you anymore.
We got to do that on our stuff. We got a ways to go. We're overhauling all of our email stuff at Permies right now because
it's a nightmare. It's a huge, when you switch systems,
world of email has become very complicated.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to update everything. And so it's been months.
Yeah.
And
a lot of work.
Hopefully, but it's like we can, like, the end is near of just getting caught up in the way the whole industry works now. Then we got to go back and like update things that have not been updated in years because the email stuff was kind of broken.
But I think it's worth it because once you do, you can provide to people much more clear information and information that they care about and would want to see, instead of you getting emails about crap you don't care about. Anyway.
So is this the chatty thing here?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Mark's the only one saying anything. He says, looking good.
Well,
thanks,
Mark. We got people. All right.
Hey, so chat stuff.
There it is.
Hi, chat.
Yeah.
Hey, Julie.
Yeah.
Julia, sorry.
All right. You said we had things we were talking about today, and I said I have no idea what we're talking about. What are we talking about?
Well, okay. So last week we talked about my tour, and we covered a lot of stuff, but there was a ton more, and so we could continue down that route.
Do you guys want to hear about his tour and the things he saw when he was here?
I think it's cool just to talk about cool stuff around here. I don't know.
It says yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So, yes, tell us what you saw. All right. Okay. What I saw, or what we talked about yesterday or last week, the drive here, the Love Shack, all the good food, which I keep talking about because it's great food.
It's nice to come here because you get fed.
My mom called me and she's like, "How are you doing?" And know, and I'm like, "I'm eating like a king, and I got to be healthy."
So Ernie and Eric could come here like 3 or 4 times a year, and I think that they look at it as like a vacation because then they come and they've got like everything's cleaned up for them, and they get fed 3 times a day, and but of course that's what we do for the people that are instructorish, you know?
Yeah.
And then of course the people that are coming here for the boot camp program, then it's like, well, and they have a good time, but they're also coming
But
they
you're feeding
want
them.
to build that experience,
yeah,
and we're feeding them, to be sure. But they're here to get that experience, and of course, you know, your dad's out there right now teaching them mountains of stuff.
Oh, they're loving it.
And I looked through your dad's photo album. That was very cool.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. So after feast night, my dad, Bear Paw, he gets out, he carries around his portfolio. It's 3 photo albums of stuff he's done. And it's so fucking cool to go through and see all. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to sit down with Bear Paw and have him go through every photo. I'm going to record the audio, and because he's got cool stories for all of it, he just rushed through that one you saw. Like, that thing can go for hours. He's got stories for every photo.
Yeah, he does. And he was trying to skip past the stories, which was great, because a lot of it was like, you know, here's a design I drew up for a guy, and we didn't build it.
Right.
And so I kind of feel like, yeah, okay, let's move on to the next one. Then he's got like a whole bunch of pictures for something. So he's got a picture of a design. Here's a design, and we did it. And it's like, then there's a whole bunch of pictures for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you know, and it's like, here, let me whittle you up a hotel. We got a forest. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, literally.
And whittle is the word, because it's like, I got these trees. I brought them over, and I kind of whittled one up to plug into another one. I made Lincoln logs, and then I, you know.
And not only that, and then he's like, and I'm going to make it beautiful and like put all this cool stuff into it. He does all this artwork out of the wood.
Here we have a balcony that's suspended from the ceiling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he does.
And then it's like, yeah, then he's got like one where it's like the path goes this way and a bridge goes over, and it's all 3D, and it's like, whoa. I mean, just to be able to have the thought about that. And then the other thing is, I don't know if I mentioned in the last show, but I was talking to your dad about Allerton Abbey, and there's a problem with the doors at Allerton Abbey. And it's like, when I try to talk to most people about it, it's like so over their head. Their whole thought process is like, burn the whole thing to the ground.
Yeah, start over.
Yeah.
Well, it took me like hundreds of hours.
and then your dad's like, well, you just do this. And it's like, I know, that's what I've been trying to tell people. And finally, there's a dude that, you know, he gets it.
Yeah, and he's he sees stuff. He can
understands.
If you describe things to him, it comes into his head. If he sees like a tree that otherwise you'd be like, cool tree, he would be like coming up with all kinds of crap he could do.
We got to figure out ways to do like some kind of regular annual Bear Paw Week kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because
he's digging it. He's loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got all this information, and he's never been one to put himself out there. And so I've drug him out here. I'm like, you're going to like it.
So he's almost exactly the same as Ernie. And I just kind of wonder what would happen if the two of them come together. And I think that they will get in a fist fight. But they both have like almost the same background and everything. And they're both, you know, epic natural builders. So, but all right. What's on your list? Let's talk about what you saw.
Okay, so so you were talking about the cabin, or the Wafati.
Allerton Abbey.
Yeah, so last week we talked about Cooper cabin. Now we can talk about Allerton Abbey.
All right, so Allerton Abbey is 400 square feet.
Yeah.
What'd you see?
I saw, okay, so on the back side, the dirt is sliding off the plastic.
That's
the top level.
That happened just this year. And it has to do with the fact that when they put the dirt on, they kind of, you know, were like, man, I'm tired of putting dirt on this.
Like they lazied it.
And so, you know, needed to be some more dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, like, okay, all the dirt that sloughed off on that one part, that one little place, leave that on the ground. And the only dirt we put in is dirt we bring in new that's piled up there. So the dirt that's on the ground now, here, I'm doing this. So the dirt that's on the ground now is going to hold up the new dirt.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way that slough doesn't happen again. And
so that one, Allerton Abbey, is the first one you guys built, right?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a difference between that and Cooper as far as design goes, I think.
So Allerton Abbey is like 93% done. It has its umbrella. Cooper cabin is only 40% done. It doesn't even have its umbrella yet. Yeah. But on Cooper cabin, it's a bigger space. And so when you go inside, it feels like a bigger space.
Yeah. So Allerton Abbey, what's happening is that it's sitting on sand, really, right?
I'm not sure I call it sand, but it's definitely the subsoil there is a gravel that's got a fair bit of sand in it.
Right. And so the poles are sinking down.
Two of them are.
And so the door is sinking down with it. And that's what he was talking about with the door idea. Because my dad's like, and
so in hindsight, what we should have done when we were building it, which we called it for the longest time, for 2 years, we called it Wafati 0.7, 0.7 beta. And the idea is to learn lessons from it about the next ones that we build that will build better.
Of course.
And so one of the things that we learned was, and it didn't even show up until like a year ago, and we started seeing the first signs of it. What we should have done is, as the vertical posts were put in, and they're like 3 or 4 feet deep, I think they're about 4 feet deep, is we should have come back with the excavator and put the excavator on it and then
push them all in.
Yeah. And then that would have really compressed them into the ground.
Now, you don't want to use concrete.
No.
Right. Because that would be a cool, I mean, that would not cool, but it would be a way to hold those posts in. I mean, there's got to be some.
Yeah, but it wouldn't change anything. I mean, it's not like it would be any more compressed, or like the dirt under the concrete would be any more compressed.
Well, it'd give it a wider space to catch.
It would do it if you made a wider hole.
Yeah.
So if you put a wider foot,
you'd have to do a wide foot and sink your pole into the concrete.
Right. Like, you could do it. You could do it that way, but there's other ways to do the exact same thing too.
Yeah.
Without using concrete.
So,
now I'm avoiding concrete, and I'm avoiding paint, and we're avoiding glue, and we're avoiding all kinds of stuff, which your dad totally gets, and he totally agrees on. So now I think I saw him in all the boots today working on junk pole fence, and he's got them building much better rock jacks. And but the big project that he's working on right now is the willow feeder, and I think that they might possibly get that whole thing framed up without using a single piece of metal, like no nails, no screws.
I think they got it for the rafters. I think they have to. For the rafters.
There's been a little, so that's
But everything else.
But the thing is that they're using timber framing techniques to make wow.
That's fucking cool.
Wow. That is some craftsmanship. And so then, of course, once they're done with that, they're going to move into the classroom
if we have time. So Bear Paw has asked that we stay an extra couple of days, because he's like, there's a lot of shit to do. And he wants
there's a lot of shit to do everywhere, on every place.
And well, he when he gets set on a project, he wants to see it out and finish it before leaving it.
I think he's grooving on being here.
Yeah,
I mean, he's got
all these people.
He's got
totally
8 people
interested in
following around, loving on him, and he's drinking it in.
Yeah, he's having a blast.
Okay, so here's somebody who's asking the question. It's probably a Q&A. Oh, it's empty, right? So what are the boot campers building? So today it's junk pole fence. I saw him doing junk pole fence earlier today. So there's a lot of rock jacks, because you can't put a post in the ground here at base camp. And so then you've got this special frame. And I think we looked at it. Didn't we look at the rock jacks? Like, you pulled up the rock jack thing and we looked at it last week.
The rock jack thing.
The page on rock
jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we covered that last week.
Yeah.
So junk pole fence and rock jacks. And then they're also building a willow feeder. And then the idea is that what do willows like? So Josiah, what does a willow tree like to eat?
Pee and poop.
So we're just working on something so they can eat that. Now, of course, if it's fresh and it's fresh right out of your butt, what's the thing we're concerned about?
Pollution.
Okay, all right, that's legit, because if you just put it on the ground,
salmonella,
pathogens. So it's like, you're true. If you just put it on the ground, next thing you know, you're drinking water, which you're enjoying there. Drinky is poop Kool-Aid.
Oh, by the way, I'm drinking tea. So here at the labs, I don't know if I'm like special in getting access to tea or if everybody has access to tea, but there's a lot of tea and it's really good. So I've been drinking a lot
Jocelyn
of
likes
tea.
to mix her own tea, and it's all loose. She doesn't
Yeah.
like the bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got the cup called chip.
Oh, we got the cup called chip.
Yeah, because it's got a chip in it. See?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's glass, which is better than plastic.
Oh, yeah.
You know, or even ceramics. Ceramics have like those, you know, certain kinds of
Yeah, you
toxic
see the
paints.
chip?
Yeah, I see the chip. So
Anyway,
it's kind of like when you watch the cartoon version of Beauty and the Beast.
Uh-huh.
Then one of the little cups is named Chip.
Right,
He's got
because you got a little chip.
Yeah.
I get it.
So you
They're
got
making a new
chip.
Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure it's going to be terrible.
I'm sure it's awful. I'm not going to watch. I got other things to do, it turns out.
Hey,
I'm going to wash my hair that day.
we're going to continue on, guys, but we really want your questions and comments. Please write stuff up.
Right. Did I answer what are the boot campers building? Are you good there, Julia? Oh, it's Julia.
Yeah.
She's one of my peeps.
So
Rock on, my peeps.
So they're doing rock jacks and junk pole fencing, and I heard a chainsaw going, so I'm thinking they're also working on the willow feeder.
So, I can see them up the hill right now.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Emily and Tony will be here today.
Yeah, cool.
They're
I'm
the
excited to meet
people
them.
that were here early
They
on.
lived in the teepee.
And they lived
Which
in
we
the
didn't
teepee
get
the first year.
Did we get to that last week? I don't think we did.
I don't know. You got to tell me. I can't remember.
How about a screen for the hot compost pile? A screen for the hot compost pile. Do you need screening on your hot compost pile? Or do you want to talk?
A privacy screen.
Oh.
Okay. All right. She's seen the pictures that we have of what we call the Pea Palace.
So she wants to. So
And
right now it's guys, and we don't care about privacy. As much.
No, actually, you know what? Here's the deal. Is that she says I saw it in person, dudes. I thought you were here. So I thought you were here so early that we'd hardly build anything at all. So we had that up when you were here. She says she was here twice.
Were you gone?
That's right. She was here twice. No, wait.
All right.
How can I not remember the second time? I only remember her being here once. All right. Oh, staff retreat. That's right. She was here. Okay. All right.
You have staff
Julia.
retreats? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I missed out on that.
Yeah. Staff. That's right. You're on the Permies.com staff.
I am.
We had a staff. Burra was here.
Yeah.
A bunch of the staff were here.
Cool.
Burra came from Portugal.
Shit.
So all right.
I missed it. That's probably West Virginia.
The Pea Palace. So I don't know if you've talked about it yet, but let's just real quick. It's the place where we've got this huge compost pile, and then there's a coil of plumbing inside of it, and the water runs through it and gets heated up by the compost pile. Now, the last 2 years, the compost pile has not gotten hot enough, but 3 years ago, it was plenty hot, scalding hot water, as much as you wanted. And so we're going to get it fired up again this year, because that's how you have an awesome shower.
Yeah, and so for a backup, when it's not doing that,
there is a rocket water heater down there too.
Cool.
But it takes a while to get it up to heat.
Yeah, you got to start it, go do your other stuff, come back.
Yeah, so it's kind of like all right. But the key is the Pea Palace. Now, first of all, let's talk about. So if Julia's there, and then I'm at the Pea Palace, and I am contributing to the compost pile. I'm contributing some nitrogen to the compost pile.
So there's a walkway that is on top of this giant compost pile.
Right.
You flop your junk out and you pee on it.
And there is a bit of a screen there now. I'm not sure if it was here when Julia was here, but there is a bit of a screen there now. But if I'm there, and you were saying like guys don't care, but no, here's where it matters to the guys, and that is if I'm there and Julia comes around the corner and I'm peeing, I am, by the standards of our society, I am a pervert.
Oh yeah.
But now if Julia's there peeing, and then I come around the corner,
You're the pervert.
Then I'm the pervert.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
so
it's really for the guys.
Yeah. Okay.
We can de-pervert all of our guys by having proper screening.
I see. It's like PC protection.
Now, yeah, it's like I really don't like where our society is right now on that, and it's kind of like there's ways that we could mitigate a lot of this, but it's like there've been like 3 times where I've been way out in the country and there's been a bunch of people around, and then there's like, you know, I don't really know all of these people, but you know, that's cool. And then a woman would be wearing a skirt and she would just
hike it up and
squat right there. And it's like, you know, she's got a skirt. That's what the original design of the skirt was supposed to be all about.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and there was one time when the woman didn't have a skirt, but she didn't care. And it's like, but still, I kind of feel like if anybody else sees me in the neighborhood of her, then it's like I'm and I kind of feel like, man. And don't get me wrong, I do totally want to look.
I don't.
I do.
I don't want to see someone pee.
It's like this woman's exposing her junk. I want to gawk. And it's like, and I feel bad that I want to. It's like, how twisted. I'm a twisted person, I think. So I don't know. I'm.
Well, like if someone.
But I want to make it cool so everybody can be just comfortable. And it's like, so really, the thing is, the Pea Palace needs a total design overhaul. And we've talked at length, and I bet that I've probably had this conversation with Julia. I have a vague memory of it, but I know I've talked to Burra for like hours, and I think I've got a total of probably 15 hours in talking to different people about all the, you know, the possible design overhauls. But really what it takes is somebody to really, truly sit down and think it through and come up with a nice, basic, simple design. And the other thing is that, well, guys, it's going to be pretty simple. You're going to stand there and pee, but you're going to need a little bit of privacy of some sort. That's not hard. But for the women, it's like to squat. First of all, a lot of women are really uncomfortable with trying anything other than conventional toilet seat kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But there's some women are bolder than others. And but there's, I would guess from what I've heard, something in the area of maybe half, I want to say 40 to 60% of women, it's like when they go to pee, it doesn't go as a straight shot. I'm trying to like do this for the camera. It's not like a straight stream. It's more like, boo! It's like you've turned on some kind of huge sprinkler system. And it's like
it's like a hose nozzle, just
yeah, and it's like
there's all kinds of ways the nozzle can spray
in all kinds of directions. And so it's like it's a real challenge for them to get it to be not all over themselves.
Right.
And so there's ways, you know, to do it, but and then we have a podcast that's called Women Peeing Outdoors, where there's a woman, I think her name is Anna Birkis, and she has transitioned from the problem into a solution space. And so the whole podcast is to go over that in detail. So
the things you would never think you'd get into while in permaculture.
I think the thing that's really weird is that how is it that I'm involved in this conversation?
I think it's like, a cool conversation though, because I'm going to learn stuff. I didn't know 40% of women are peeing all over the place.
It's like it's not talked about, and it's one of those things where it's like women all go to the restroom together, and then you go to the women's restroom, and it's like they got a fucking couch in here. What the hell? And it's like it's a much, the women's restroom is much larger, and then they do the thing because you go to the men's restroom, we don't talk. Don't talk. That's not why you're here. You do what you got to do and you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then the women's restroom, they all go in there and they're going to visit for half an hour or whatever. And they talk about everything. But apparently they don't talk about peeing outdoors. Huh. And that's like a topic that's not allowed or something. And so
let's make it a little socially more acceptable.
And so for a lot of women, when they've tried to pee outside, it has been a disaster. It's just, and it's like, so then this becomes a big thing because like you go to a permaculture site and they're like, okay, we've got, you know, this outhouse or something over here, you know, we got something over here. And it's like, so please don't pee in it, you know, just poop in it. And so pee all over the place. And then what happens is that the whole crowd goes like this. They go, okay, all right, sure thing. And then And then 70% of the women inside their head, they're going, fuck that shit. I'm peeing in that thing because there's no place else to pee. And so it's like, okay, so how do we solve this problem? How do we get that which we're seeking? And I think, you know, that's where that podcast, you know, was an attempt at that, is to try and get that information out there. So then I had for the Willow Bank down here, I had people coming to me, women coming to me and saying, okay, it's Shark Week. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna
ant flow, all the euphemisms, you know? And so it's like, there's blood. Where does it go? And then of course,
blood compost,
there's blood paraphernalia. Where
right.
does that go? And it's like, so
plasticky versus non-plasticky and all the various types.
I asked the women to make a document that would kind of explain it, and none of them ever did. So guess who ended up making the document?
That's right.
It was me. I made the document.
And I saw the document. You showed me the document.
And now, granted, there was a woman here who took my document and made it prettier. And it's like, but why am I the guy? Why am I doing this?
Well, because they don't want to talk about it.
Well, that's true. And that's a good point. That's
because we have no relation to it. We're fine with talking about it.
And but you know, but on the other hand, it's kind of like, you know, women are like, why is it that men make the bras, and why is it that men, you know, make all these things and make all these decisions? There's a bunch of men making decisions for women.
It's not. Nobody's stopping you.
And as a guy who's like, you know, ended up being like asking women to help with this, and then they didn't, and then it's like, then it still needs to be done. Then I'm the one who ended up doing it. And so it's like
you're like a Reardon.
Maybe so. I don't know. All right, but
we got a question.
Well, we do. There's the Q&A thing.
Christopher, he says, I was wondering if it is a safe practice to compost weeds from the spray area from a aerobic septic system. That's totally on topic.
All right. So then so I think what Christopher is asking is that somebody has a septic system, an aerobic septic system, and they got poopy bits. They've got
and there's a bunch of weeds in that area. And he's wondering about composting those weeds.
So you got to use the word effluent instead of affluent.
So the way I would handle it is the same way I would human manure. If it's something I'm really worried about, I would treat it like human manure, composting human manure.
Right. If this is like your own home system, and you are super familiar, because it's like my primary concerns about what's going to be sprayed from a septic system. So we're talking about, like, let's pretend that it's relatively fresh stuff. Then I'm going to say that that you can use it, but I would be concerned dominantly about from the beginning about pathogens, and I kind of feel like, what if you're spraying something from your septic system, and it's like how, if it's, I mean, basically there's a whole reason why the drain field is 18 inches underground. Then that material ends up not being airborne, and which I think is important. So if you've got a pathogen, if you've got somebody in the house that's sick, or more importantly, let's say everybody does it, and your next door neighbor has somebody in the house who's got some kind of severe illness, and then a fly goes and lands on those poopy bits, then flies back over to your house and lands on supper, and then you eat it, and then you get sick. That's the path. Well, that's one of the many ways of pathogens. Mm-hmm. And then the next thing is like, okay, you've got poop Kool-Aid that you're spraying out there, and then it's like, does it end up in your groundwater? I mean, now is, especially if they're doing it in the winter time. All right, I'm going to stop myself right there, because I've got like 4 hours of podcasts on this very topic, where they actually took the stuff from the sewage treatment plant in Missoula, and they sprayed it above ground onto a bunch of cottonwood trees. Now, the cottonwood tree is one of the species that we refer to as the poop beast. They'll take in all that material that you can provide. They just love it. They eat it all up. And so but I'm wandering off into the weeds here because really I think that the thing that you were covering was your tour.
So if you want to hear that podcast, where would they go find that podcast, Paul? Richsoil.com.
Yeah, it's a
permaculture.
Permies, because you set up all of my podcasts
stuff,
at Rich Soil. Well, actually, Kane Jameson, who is now Toby Hemingway's geek, set it up originally, but you overhauled the system and made it way better because it's
that was years ago. It needs another overhaul, I think.
Sure,
okay. But it works.
Well,
perfect.
I think dominantly what we do is we refer to it all from Permies now. We've got a forum dedicated to the podcasts. But what I do is I do Google searches and I say site:permies.com, and then I'll type in like stuff like podcast, sewage treatment. That would probably pull it up.
Yeah, usually when I'm searching, or a lot of times, like there's a lot of crap information out there, but I feel like on Permies, stuff's pretty damn good. So I'll do a search and I'll do permies.com space whatever I want to find.
Okay, now you want to watch here. I bet I could make Julia type something. You ready? I want to say a thing, and it's like, let's suppose that I want to convince people to use a willow feeder instead of a toilet, and so of course we just were talking about pathogens, right? And then Uncle Fester goes into the bathroom and totally punishes it. And then he comes out and he says, I feel light as a feather. And then there's this aura that comes with him, which is shared with everybody. And we're all like, oh. And of course, the smell is done because there's particulate in the air. And so I could say that the pathogens came through the air and stuck inside of your nose.
Yeah, which they did.
And it's like, and the thing is that now, of course, Julia's a physician, and she's not a lot of. See there, she's saying it. She's saying it. So I know how to trigger Julia, and so the thing is that if I'm trying to convince people to go down this path, I want to point out that what I said is I could say. That's how I started it, right? I could say, and it's like, but now and the thing that Julia comes after me about is to say that pathogens on those little particulates that go through the air, that pathogens don't hitch a ride on those little particulates.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, we would all get really sick whenever a sick person goes in there and drops a steamer, and the rest of us are suffering from it.
I remember watching a video of this. They had this like super high def camera that did 1,000,000 frames per second or whatever, so they can go super slow-mo. And they would film like someone sneezing on an airplane or whatever and show how far that went. Or someone peeing and the pee flying out of the toilet, like, because they could see it. You can't even see this shit, but it was like fucking everywhere. I'm like, oh God. But I don't know about pathogens. It's just pee, I guess.
Pee is for all practical purposes. And I got to phrase this correctly, especially with Julia here. And so Julia, you just hammer me as much as you want, because urine for all practical purposes is sterile. And what I mean to say by that is that any kind of pathogen or anything that is possible that could be in your urine is going to not live more than like 2 to 4 seconds.
Well, it's going through a big filter thing called a liver.
Yeah. Oh no.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
True. At the same time, it's a bodily fluid.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it has to do with the consistency of the urine and stuff like that, a bunch of other factors. But the thing is that it's like 2 to 4 seconds is total lifespan. In fact, when working with sick people in hospitals and urine, you're not required to wear gloves, because it's like the odds of anybody getting sick from urine is so near zero. It's like,
Julie's saying, unless it's a urinary tract infection, or unless someone has that, but it's generally sterile.
So I would say not very conducive to life. I would say even if you have a UTI, that whatever it is that's going on with that UTI, whatever is that even still, and this comes from the whole idea of like somebody peeing outside, and it's like, okay, so let's say that somebody has a UTI and they pee outside, and somebody else is walking around barefoot and they step in it, and it's like, nope, totally fine, totally safe, everything's okay. Would you agree with that?
I would,
Dr. Julia?
unless you're licking the shoe.
Yes, she says she agrees with it. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean,
but even if you step in it,
we could get into cruder space, and it's like I don't want to go there really. But don't eat yellow snow. You got that from Dr. Julia. Don't eat yellow snow. I think there's different reasons to not eat yellow snow. You'll just be disgusted with yourself. So, all right. So I want to get back to the tour and wrap that up. I just have this need to be done.
Yeah, we got like 5 minutes left. So,
oh shit.
Yeah, I know. Time flies. Okay, so we went to the teepee. We kind of touched on that just a little bit ago, but the teepee's fucking awesome. It's got a rocket mass heater built in, and it looks like a crescent moon. And now it's a full circle, almost. Or not a full circle, but it's the rocket mass is here.
It's a C-shaped kind of thing,
and then the exhaust sound comes back out by the rocket mass.
Oh, right. But it's like, but part of it's underground.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like big where you could sleep on it, and apparently you can, and it did for a whole winter.
And other people slept on the following winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and right outside the teepee is so on the teepee there's some mold happening because it's been sitting for a while.
Yeah, we haven't had enough people in it. We had somebody who was going to rent it out, and then they forgot.
So it probably needs to be cleaned.
And then it's like, for good teepee care, if you're going to have a teepee set up through the winter, you got to have people living in it and keeping it warm, which is what Emily and Tony did. And then the idea was that this last winter we were going to rent it out, but to rent it out, you got to rent it out, and then it's warm, and then So it didn't happen. So now right now it's like not looking good, and we're going to have to replace it. Now the funny thing
is, it's not looking terrible. I've seen much worse. It's obvious it hasn't been that long.
I've seen worse too. At the same time, the proper thing to do is that I'm going to have to shell out the $1,000 to replace the teepee.
Oh, I don't think you'd have to do that, would you? You can, well...
I don't think because the idea is if you don't want to rent it if it looks like that.
No,
and it's like,
bleach it. I know that's so horrible.
We're not going to bring in bleach. We're not going to use bleach. But we've already had a bunch of people talking about a variety of different ways to go in there and clean that all up. And the first guy that was staying in there, he did a really good job of chasing down any speck of anything that looked spotty or dodgy. But then, he moved out and got his own, he's an ant now. So he's built his own structure up there.
Yeah.
So did we talk about Ant Village last time?
Not yet. We're going to get to that right now. Okay. So right outside the teepee was two things. One was a cool looking Langstroth beehive with some straw around it and an electric fence around that. And it's built on this really nice structure to keep bears away.
The beehive. And so that's Emily and Tony built that beehive.
Oh, same people. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be here tomorrow.
No, they're going to be here today.
Oh, cool.
They're going to be here probably in an hour or two.
Oh, all right. So that was cool. And then, and I don't know if they did this, but there's mushroom inoculation stations right outside of there. And it's obviously been inoculated. There's plugs.
Might have been. Tony did a lot with mushrooms.
So it's mushrooms starting to grow a little. Well, not mushrooms. It's, they're just starting.
We've inoculated a lot of stuff here at base camp with morel mushrooms.
Yummy.
Which apparently you're not supposed to be able to do, but we found a YouTube on video where a dude was totally doing it. So cool. we
What environment was he in? Same environment?
I think he was warmer. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
anyway,
we're trying it.
I want to check into the woods. There's so many good mushrooms. Anyway,
this is some pretty prime morel country here. So if I mean, the thing is he in prime morel country? And it's like, but chances are wherever he is, it's probably not as prime as this morel country is.
Yeah.
So we'll probably have better success than him.
I think up at the lab is more prime for it than here, but even here is pretty good.
Last year was hilarious because last year a bunch of people from the lab, got into like some giant rig, and then they went to a place where there was a fire like the year before or whatever.
Oh,
And they went mushroom hunting, and they came back with like 20. And in the meantime, a gal was here in the office, the place where you've been hanging out all this time.
She's just walking around.
Just walked right out the front door and found like 18 right there.
Awesome.
So all by her lonesome, she found more. But now my cousin used to go out, and he'd be gone an hour, and he'd come back with a grocery sack full of morels. So,
all right. Well, Ant Village is next. It's gonna take some time to talk about. I think we should save it for next week. And I wanna get a bunch of pictures to show people while I'm talking about it. So the one thing I was saying about my dad is that so I'm gonna have him do the whole spiel, explain the whole slide, like he's gonna go through the album and talk about it, and then I'm gonna create a slideshow, put his audio to it so you can see what he's talking about. It's gonna be awesome. I don't know when I'll do it. Hopefully in the next month or so. So look forward to that. That's Bear
cool.
Paw.
Yeah, you got to get more of his, because he's got like a little website of some kind. Maybe you put that together.
No, I did not.
Okay,
it's called Weebly. It's just a poor
it's
website.
Old. It's old, and it's like,
and it has hardly anything.
It has hardly anything in it compared to like all of his massive pictures. And then of course with all the pictures come all the stories.
Oh yeah.
And man, he's gotten a lot done. And it's like I kind of felt like we could find a lot of people who are doing timber framing, and we could find a lot of people who are of course doing conventional stuff. But to find somebody who's doing roundwood timber framing, that's rare.
And someone doing roundwood timber framing that is used to living in roundwood timber framing, like building everything out of it.
Very good point. Yeah, and I mean, like, just those sawbucks that he's got, that's like, I never thought of doing that. That's very cool.
As soon as it was the first single day he was here, whipped out the sawbucks, instantly had an ant building one. He's like, holy shit. Right. Anyway, all right, guys, have fun. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.